For years, being a top streamer looked like the absolute dream job, right? But in 2026, something just snapped. We're seeing the biggest names on the planet suddenly hitting a wall, and it's signaling this massive, systematic shift in the entire creator economy. People are calling it the Great Streamer Reset. And it all really came to a head on February 7th with this one clip. You have the world's biggest streamer, IShowSpeed, looking completely wiped out, telling millions of people he's taking an indefinite break. Now, this wasn't some planned vacation. This was a breaking point broadcast live for the whole world to see.
And the rumored reason he was so fed up, his monthly income had dropped to this number, $800,000. I mean, for most of us, that's more than a lifetime of earnings. But for Speed, it was somehow a sign that everything was deeply wrong.
Which, brings us to the real question here. Why? Why would anyone walk away from that kind of money? Well, this isn't just about the cash. It's about a system that's turned into an unwinnable game, even for the people at the very top. So let's unpack what exactly broke.
To really understand this whole reset, we have to start with the man who pretty much triggered it. Let's take a closer look at the insane pressures that pushed IShowSpeed, a guy known for his nonstop energy, to finally just say, enough. So look at this timeline. It tells you everything. In January, Speed is literally on top of the world. He wraps up this huge tour of Africa, hits 50 million subscribers, an absolute global phenomenon. But then, just a few weeks later, he's back in his bedroom, streaming like he always used to. And that contrast, that whiplash, was just jarring. The high was so extreme that going back to normal felt like a total failure.
And there's a name for this. It's called dopamine debt. It's like when your brain gets hooked on the adrenaline of meeting world leaders and having thousands of fans chase you down the street, sitting alone in your room just doesn't cut it anymore. It feels like you're going backwards. He wasn't quitting because he was broke. He was quitting because the whole effort to reward thing had been turned completely upside down.
But here's the thing. Speed is not an isolated case. He's just the most visible symptom of a much, much wider problem. To really see how deep this goes, let's look at 3 of the biggest streamers out there. Each one represents a different, kind of fatal flaw in the modern streaming model.
So you see, burnout isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. For Speed, it's dopamine debt. For Kai Cenat, it's more like existential fatigue. He basically beat the game of streaming, so now what? And then for a guy like XQC, it's what you could call compassion fatigue, this soul-crushing burden of having to be the internet's judge, jury, and executioner every single day.
Let's look a little closer at Kai Cenat. After he hit that insane milestone of 1 million subs, he didn't try to top it. No, he pivoted. He launched Viewbot, his own luxury fashion brand. See, he recognized that streaming is a digital treadmill. The second you go offline, your value basically resets to zero. By building a physical brand, he's creating assets that keep growing even when he's not live. It's genius.
And then you have XQC. His burnout comes out as pure anger. During that whole Aspen Cartier controversy, he spent hours on stream just policing the correct way for other creators to react. And that's the impossible job of a top streamer today. You're expected to have a perfectly worded, legally safe, and morally pure opinion on every single internet drama in real time in front of 60,000 critics. It's completely unsustainable. Okay, so we've looked at the internal psychological stuff. But what about the external pressures? The hard truth is, these creators are playing a game that the platforms themselves have basically rigged to be unwinnable. It really started back in August of 2025 with what everyone called the bot purge. The platforms cracked down on fake traffic, and just like that, overnight, viewership numbers across the board just cratered by 24%. Now, psychologically, this was a killer. It kicked off this hustle panic, where creators started grinding twice as hard to get back numbers that were never even real in the first place. And then, on top of that, came the algorithm shift. YouTube especially just stopped rewarding raw hype and shock content. The exact stuff that made streamers like Speed famous. The new algorithm favors satisfaction signals and deeper, more habit-forming content. This totally devalued the high-energy, go viral or go home style of the mega streamers. So all of this has led to this thing we can call content inflation. Just look at the job description for a top creator in 2026. It's not just about streaming anymore. You have to be a live entertainer, a short-form video expert,
a global event planner, and a tech CEO who's competing with AI production. It is literally 4 full-time jobs rolled into one person.
So when the old game becomes impossible to win, what do you do? Well, the smartest creators are starting to play a completely new one. And this isn't just about taking a break, it's about fundamentally changing who they are.
See, the old model was being the creator-entertainer. Your entire value was tied to the hours you were on camera. The second you hit end stream, your ability to make money just stopped. It's what created this constant, grinding pressure to be on 24/7, 365 days a year.
But the new model is the creator-founder. And here, your value isn't just in your live performance, it's built into intellectual property that you actually own. Think about Kai Cenat's fashion line, Viewbot. That brand is out there, working, growing, and making him money even while he's sleeping. It is the escape hatch from that digital treadmill.
And that brings us right back to Speed. His decision to walk away isn't just a tantrum over one bad paycheck. It's a massive red flare going up, signaling to everyone that the creator-entertainer model has hit the absolute limit of what one human can possibly sustain. He's just the first one who was brave enough to actually admit it out loud.
The pioneers of this entire industry, the guys who wrote the playbook, have finally hit the ceiling. They've proven that this non-stop, high-stakes entertainment lifestyle is fundamentally unsustainable. And so the real question this whole reset leaves us with is a big one. If the titans who defined the game can't even play it anymore, who's next?